Good morning or evening or afternoon, depending on what time you are watching this. So today I am adding J-pipes to my Beetle. I've currently got the old heater pipes, heat exchangers in place. They since I restored it, I've never connected them back up. You can't see it's beyond there. I've just never used it. I've never wanted to use this much in the winter, even though it's starting to rust. So removing these today. As you know from previous videos, the exhaust is already off. So at the back here, if you already got these parts removed, I believe they're just held on by Jubilee clip. You can do 13 mils, one just there, and the other one just there. They're not, well, mine not done up too tight. These are copper bolts, I believe. There is a gasket behind there as well, single gasket. I've got some new gaskets go in. I've done the other side already, so I know what I'm going for on this one. The bottom bolt is quite easy to get to. The top one's a bit of a pain because it's at an angle. So what I found is using an open wrench to get to it, crack it first, and then get a ratchet on there and start to undo it. I won't record my process of doing this because I haven't got my tripod today. Right, so I've been at it for a good probably hour now. It's a lot cleaner. What I did, let me just move back here on my seat. Well, my bucket. Just washed it with some nice clean water first with a brush, and then in the bad areas like in here and around here, I just sprayed it with some WD-40 with the water and brush, really worked it in, getting rid of everything. There's no really mud down here or anything. It was more around here and here where it's caked a bit. A lot of mud around here between the wing seal and the wing. My new J-pipes came the other day. I've started to sand this one. You can see the light of rust on it. Got these on Fleabay for 15 total including delivery. I thought that's alright. Brand new, they're what, 30 quid or 50 quid for stainless steel ones. So I'm just going to sand these back and just paint with some high temp paint. Now I've been reading up online. There is some issues when replacing these. Heater box has a layer of metal and fins, big fins going along. The idea is that when the cylinder fires, exhaust gases come down, the heat dissipates onto the heat sinks, let's call them, similar to like a CPU on a computer, into the boxes, and then the boxes obviously have a little part here which then goes into the cabin. We have a bit of an update. We did start with some J-pipes here. I'm respraying, cleaned up, and as you can see, there was a bit of pitting, so cleaned up all the rust with the handle grinder, so it's looking fantastic now. Got a few more coats I want to put on there. Protected with some high temperature paint, so that's going on in the background at the minute. We've got the old original ones there. I'll have to build a heat protection panel. I'll link or put a picture up here of them. We'll go over these because these are going to generate more heat now than these did, because these have inside there you can see the heat sinks which generates the in-cabin heater, which I haven't got any more on here. Doing the exhaust J-pipes, I noticed a few rusty bits. This stud was a bit rusting. The body mount rubber is okay. I would like to replace it, but it's solid and it's not, you know, it's there. As you can see, there's some overspray from where the car got painted, and there's a bit of rust coming through. That's not rust, I think it's just overspray again. And I'm just going to do a clean up. That's again, it's not rust, it's just dirt. And just give a general tidy up of things. Information tip, guys. The heat exchangers are not identical. One is longer than the other. So when you're putting your J-pipes on, make sure that you put the shorter side, the driver's side. So if you look here on the J-pipe, if I line that up there, it's a little bit longer, which is fine. But if I line it up with the passenger side, it's a lot shorter. So the passenger side has the longer one and the driver's side has the shorter one. There we go, that's a bit better, you can see it now. I'll put a bit of copper grease on those studs. So I'm not wearing my gloves, which I should be at the moment, so I just want to put a bit on there. Like that, make sure I'm nice and clean. There we go. Lots and lots. There we go. Put this on. I'm doing this one-handed. See how it goes. Swap hands. Skills. There we go. God knows how full-time YouTubers do this. There we go. Just a bit more. Voila. It's going to create a nice seal there. I'm just going to get some bolts on that. Hello again. Right, so we have the third coat now applied with. Let's show you what I've been using. So I've been using a smooth black 8-year protection, no need to under primer and undercoat. Well, quick drying. It is. I think it's a 2-hour then recoat stuff. Direct to rust. So what I'm doing with that is just sanding it all flat, all the rust off as much as I can with sand, really 120 I think grit sandpaper, really getting in there with it, then cleaning it all down with some brake cleaner. Anyway, so most of this was really good anyway. It still had painting from when the body was painted. Earlier in the video you probably saw that all in here and here, so it's all nice and cleaned up in there now. Really went to town and they get it all nice and clean. So that was the main thing, getting all that rusted off in there and down in here. So let's get the light in here a bit. So getting it all in here. Now I've decided this is not like a proper restore. We are going to be adjusting the suspension at a later stage, so all this is going to come off again. So I'm not too concerned about that. I've got the bolts with paint on. Might be a bit hard to get off, but it'll be fine. We'll replace these bolts anyway because they're starting to rust. They're supposed to be stainless steel, but I'll have to go with titanium. Same with going with here. You can get copper ones. I'm doing complete overkill, but it's for me. It's my experience. So as well as that, these are going to come off. So I painted over them for now, but I'm going to replace the bushes some later stage with better bolts. Got a bit of paint in mind, so I've gone down here with the paint with this box section, which is for the bumper brackets. I'm going to get in here. I've had some really good success with there's like a little hose you get for your spray can, and it sprays a 360, so you just kind of go in and out with it. I've done that with all the chassis and all the roof parts and all down here with it before. It worked really well. So I'm not too concerned about the bug in the heater channels, because it's got all spray painted in there. I do need to sort bits of this out though. So yeah, moving on. I've got started on with the wing over here, so I've got everything spread out. Got everything laid out. So the wing is fiberglass from Day Mouldings. Picked the wings up years ago from the original owner of Day Mouldings. Fantastic guy. I haven't met the new chaps now, but put it this way, when I got these Day Moulding wings, they were £140 for 4. 140. I don't think you can pick up one now for 120. So these ones, so what I've done with all the stone chips, they only had a few layers of paint from when I got them. So you can see here all the mouldings from when they were done. So there's not much undercoating. So what I've done is cleaned all the crud out from in here where the mud has got, repainted it because it's thinned the paint, so you can tell when it's washed. Another hour passes. Sorry guys, I'm not recording what I'm doing. I've misplaced my tripod for now, so the camera's going to be a bit over the place. So this is the first layer of Hammerite paint going on. It's going on quite nice and shiny, which I like. Tightened up these bolts and cleaned them, painted over them from now. I think they'll be alright on there. I prefer that, I think. Tied up all this. So with Hammerite, it goes on quite liquidy, so you need a good few coats. The red's still showing through from the overspray of the red. So a couple, I'll probably go at 3 coats. And do it all down there and down there. So a couple more coats, probably wait for this first coat to dry overnight. A couple of coats tomorrow. And start bolting this up, putting the wing back on. Putting copper grease in all these, clean up the wing tomorrow as well, and back on. As you know, the fuel system I mentioned in other videos I'm redoing, so I'm putting all this out and running braided line. So it'll be braided line on the outside here, and then it'll go to a copper pipe towards the engine bay, and same by the tank. Apart from that, it's all good. Bolts are good. Apart from that one, I had to re-thread that one. It's very hard to sort that bolt out because you can't get a. If that was threaded from when I restored the car, and the problem you've got is it's very hard to get a drill in there to drill it out. You know, you've got this curving down. You haven't got any access underneath. The only way is if you have a long drill bit from underneath, but most of the car was built together. So it's a bit of a pain. So I've rethreaded them at a slight tiny angle, that bolt hole, but apart from that, it's all good. So yeah, a couple more paints tomorrow, and then hopefully towards the end of tomorrow I'll be able to get the J-pipes back on, bit on the car, and then in a few weeks time I'll do this same process on the other side, and hopefully, yeah, get it going, get back on the road, enjoy it again. I've got a few 13 mils here, a smaller one just in case of tight space, and a bigger one to get more power down, tighten up. Got a 13mm open end wrench, because if I remember, the top one's a pain in the ass to get in. It's copper grease, gloves, and a gasket. They're 13mm. These are what the engine builder put on. I believe they're brass or copper, so it's quite handy. They've got an interesting slit on, I'm guessing for expansion because they're exhaust ones. Unsure? So please let me know. So there we go, it's all nice and pretty in here. Got the bolt with some grease on. I'm going to put a load of wax all over this. The wing is going to get some special treatment. Hopefully that'll be in the next video, I'll show you that. And what we're going to be doing is getting in there. If you can't see it, just there. Shouldn't be too bad. I want to get this on and then go from there. Hopefully get the other side in, but we'll see. And with the magic of YouTube, it's attached. So there we go. Starting that up. This is the bit I was mentioning earlier in videos about how now the heatsink, not heatsink, these are higher. Sorry, not high. These haven't got the heat sinks around them to warm the inside of the cab up, the heat exchangers. So you can see those screws there. So what I'm thinking of doing is using these screws here, the original ones, and building a bracket around over the top of this to protect the head, because this is going to get warm now. Whilst I was taking off the back wing, I saw that the bolts on the rear light mounting, what you want to call it, enclosure panel, rear light mounting brackets were rusty. Now one of the bolts before I restored the car was already gone, rusted out, so I drilled it out, and I had always had a bolt going through, well, an Allen key bolt, and I found that was great until obviously I saw it was rusting a few weeks back. So what I've decided to do is take the other one was rusting as well, so the nuts, everything's rusting because they're only. So I drilled that one out as well. Just need to bend this back a bit as well. So what I've decided to go ahead with is pop the stainless steel clips, the sealed unit at the back, so even if they were just plain steel, they shouldn't rust. And these are stainless steel, so I'm going to pop these on here. As you can see, just pop them on there like that. There we go, just pop them straight on like that. Hopefully it's alright. And what I've done, shout out to Thai Bike off eBay. There's his card and number, and falling on the floor. He sorted me out a load of titanium bolts, and also titanium bolts to go in the back here. These are M5 by 2 centimeters, 20 mil. And those slots, so imagine this being on the wing, this coming from the wing and going through it and zipping into there. So that's my plan. I thought I would show you the finished product, so this is what it's going to look like. So imagine that on your wing, And then these bits here, the flat side of the clip is facing the wing. Bear in mind the seal goes over that, so which would be fine, which will create a nice seal still. And then the bolt there, that threaded bit there does not interfere with anything either. Same with that side there. So fantastic. If you want, I can do a video updating this later on just to show you that it's all working happily.